Good morning and welcome to the program Perspectives. This morning, Perspectives will be, staying with what is currently going on and which is at its peak, so to say, in Nigeria today. And that's about the hashtag and SARS protests that we're having all over the country. It's taking another dimension, and again, some people would say a frightening dimension, and what needs to be done, and urgently too, and for decisive measures that has to be taken. It started about 2 weeks ago when it all started with End SARS, protests, hashtag End SARS protest. It was a welcome development. It was taking a good shape until it was taken over by hoodlums, miscreants, and they never do well in the society. And of course, we're seeing the turn of events now with what is taking place, and from giving them, all the accolades, and of course raising thumbs up for them. Now again, people are disappointed. There are scores of deaths all over the place, and it's led to some states declaring curfew just to save the situation that we have. Politicians have been said to have played a role here too, and of course we are at a point where the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and the Speaker of the House of Representatives appealing to the President to talk to Nigerians, and all of that coming out of this. There are lessons and takeaways from what is happening or what has happened, and to share thoughts with me on the hashtag End SARS protest, I've had to come back with bring back Jide Ojo. Jide Ojo is the Executive Director, Oja Development Consult. He's a columnist with Punch newspapers, and as a matter of fact, in today's Punch newspaper, he has a write-up on what is going on. Jide Ojo is also a blogger and an author and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance, United States of America. Jide, welcome, and glad to have you back again.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Yes. Jide, ton of events. 2 weeks into the hashtag End SARS protest, and the dimension it has taken, frightening, and of course has gone awry, as some people would say. We're recording deaths. The military has been brought in, or the army has been brought in, and of course security too. We have lots of lives from the security end personnel, and of course of other young ones out there. But again, taking it all, why this must end? What are your thoughts on this now?
First and foremost, my heart goes to the families of those who have died in the course of this struggle. It's so unfortunate, particularly the unwarranted, unprofessional murder of Nigerians and making top player in Lagos yesterday night. This should not happen in our democracy. Young people who have conducted themselves very professionally, peacefully, maturely, even when they are youth, and we know these are given to overzealousness and restiveness. Nigerian End SARS movement protesters have largely been very peaceful until this week. And you could see over the weekend that government was tired of tolerating these people on the street, having constituted nuisance, blocking roads, and preventing people from having their normal businesses. And appealed consistently that they used to leave the school. Yes, they were adamant, but we then don't go and sponsor influence stocks and undesirable elements to go and attack them. Whoever orchestrates this, whether they are state actors or non-state actors as well, to establish and working the electoral situation. And the country will be the one to pay the price for this. Already there are financial institutions in Lagos that have been raised. There are police institutions that have been raised. There are government properties that have been burnt. This is avoidable. And my heart breaks because when you start a struggle of this nature, you may know the beginning, you may not be able to predict how it will end. And in my column on the point today, I actually like what is going on to the 1993 interest of where life also not in good measures, military rolled out their banks, and innocent citizens in broad daylight. That is that reason. Many of the victims of Trump are still reaching their wounds 27 years after. And I don't think it's in the enlightened best interest of the government to continue to handle this with keen glow. This is the response from the government should have been more matured, more responsive than what they have done. And if you drag these youths underground and they start a guerrilla warfare on their country, we may end up not having a country in the nearest future. I just say that the situation is still redeemable, and that's why I joined the Senate in asking Mr. President to please address these Nigerian youths.
Okay. Well, I just need to. This is a protest that we all know that's going on, and with such protests, we never can tell or know how it would end. But again, peaceful protests that we've seen in other climes too have started this way, and then it ends up with lootings and all of that, with hoodlums taking over, as we're seeing that is going on. How do we explain what happened in Edo, where about over 190 prisoners were set free? Now they're coming back to society. We are sure that they're not only going to stay in Edo, they will move to other parts of the country, and we can just imagine what will happen. How do you explain too when these miscreants will block the road and stop business and all of it to go on? So again, was it something that was carried out of that they did not go out or bow out when the ovation was loudest?
Well, you may say so, but you need to understand the psychology of a youth. I was part of the June 12 struggle. I was at that time an undergraduate student of University of Lagos, and I did participate before the campuses, before the universities were shut down and we were all driven out of the campus. The point is this: as our government and sufficient trust of the Nigerian youths, have we not disappointed them? What you are seeing is the venting of a pent-up anger, the bottled up anger that an average Nigerian youth who is not privileged is having against his government. And about the hijack, because we are speaking to issues about hijack, miscreants taking advantage of the peaceful protest to release prisoners as it happened in Edo, to bomb police stations, to wreak havoc on financial institutions. Yes, there are also Nigerians who are doing that. They are not from any part of the moon. They are also Nigerians, and the security agencies should have preempted. They should have preempted that when this protest was going on, after a while, some fifth columnists were going to take advantage to foment trouble. And the first thing, what the Inspector General of Police was just doing yesterday, deploying anti-riot policemen across government critical facilities and infrastructure, should have been done immediately that protest started. Because even I, that is not in the security sector, I know at some point this thing will be hijacked. That's the way it always goes. It starts peacefully, after a while it will snowball. There are people who think it's also an opportunity to make money, to line their pockets, to rob people. So what the government should have done or failed to do was to have done sufficient security threat analysis as to know that the first thing they should have protected are the critical infrastructures of the state. And they will have been able to successfully ward off those criminal elements, those miscreants, those hoodlums, those thugs who have a different agenda from the peaceful EndSARS protesters. And they should have been able, I should have, if I were to be IG of police, the first thing I will have ordered is all critical infrastructure, financial institutions. These are targets because people want to loot. People want to loot, and when you set a place on fire, there will be chaos, there will be melee, there will be confusion, and in that confusion, some people will dare to loot. We saw that even during the xenophobic attack, when people used the opportunity of what was happening in South Africa to go and wreak havoc on ShopRite and other interests of South Africa in Nigeria before they were quickly curtailed. That happened last year. What I'm saying, in essence, is that the failure of governance, the failure of intelligence. I've heard people saying that the EndSARS movement do not have leaders. They do have leaders. If you watch Channels TV this morning, there was a lady, one of their leaders, who cried, on the station. The point is, where is our intelligence community? How come they didn't pick the intel about the possibility of hijack? And let me tell you this. There are fingers pointing at government as having been the one allegedly orchestrating the attack on the peaceful protesters in order to discredit them, in order to achieve their aim. Yes,
that cannot be verified. We did not have,
I said allegation.
All right. Again, okay. All right.
I said it was alleged.
Yeah,
because
okay.
If you see the viral videos, the one that happened in Abuja yesterday, where talks were seen entering SUVs and being piloted. How do you account for that? There are videos of even police facility, police vehicles being used to shepherd alleged hoodlums. It is for the police authority, the military authority to come out and debunk this. I'm only saying what is out there on the social media that they need to counter. There are allegations that it was the military that was responsible for the attack on the EndSARS protester yesterday night at Lekki Tollgate. Let the military authority come out to say they didn't have anything to do with this. Don't forget, these youth, please let me make this point. These youth are using ICT to the maximum. Even while the attack was going on, there were live feeds, there was streaming of the event. Some of those youth dared to even film the situation, and they were sending live feeds on social media, and people were following through. So it's not a reported speech. It's not something that he said. It was something that, as it was going on, there are TV stations, there are radio stations, there are journalists who cover this event, who also were sending live reports to their different stations. So it is incumbent on government to debunk or come out clearly to explain what is their role in turning this peaceful protest to a violent one.
Okay, you know, in all of this too, I'm not holding brief for President Muhammadu Buhari, but again, when it was, heating up, he had come to say to Nigerians that these youths have legitimate rights and to protest on what their demands were, and they should not be molested. So the way it turned out to be was somebody somewhere from the security outfit not going by what the president had called for. You were talking about having intelligence to monitor how the youths were doing, and of course facilities should have been protected. Was somebody somewhere in the security outfits not respecting what the president had said about allowing these demonstrations, especially because they were peaceful and their demands legitimate?
Let me tell you something, my brother. See, even in the military, in the police, there are fifth columnists who can commit a crime in order to discredit this government, and such people should be phased out. If I were the security chief, this is enough to make some people to resign their position, because the failure of intelligence. How did these people plan this? Even protest from day one. They have been able to launch an online radio. They have been able, and if you see the genuine protesters, you will see them. They even have security. They hire security, private security guards to protect them from molestation. They were so organized that they were even picking meters that they may have released on the street. They have people who are picking weight. They have ambulances to take care of those who are injured or those who are stressed out. They were so organized. The only thing I took exception to that the NSAS protesters did was the blockage of the highway and preventing other people from doing their normal businesses, because they as their parents will need to earn a living to be able to take care of them. I took exception to that, and on other media stations I've actually said that for those in Abuja, they could have been allowed to have access to the Unity Fountain to demonstrate as long as they wish to demonstrate. That way, the police can offer them protection from molestation. After all, for years, we have the Bring Back Our Girls protesters making use of the Unity Fountain. And nothing, yes, on one or two occasions there were alleged molestations, but it ceases after the government intervened and said, allow these people to continue to do their business. And the OBA is the president of this world, Aisha Yusuf of this world. They had their dates for years. For years, they were making use of Unity Fountain. If these NSAS protesters have also been encouraged to say, look, come and gather here, create a space for them, let them ventilate their views, they can live stream, they can address press, and all of that. The only exception, like I said, what I took exception to was the blockage of the highway and disrupting businesses aligned. We are not only Nigerians that are living in Nigeria. There are foreigners, there are outsiders who are suffering the collateral damage of some of the things they did. Many people have missed their flights. Many people have lost millions of naira in businesses. Look at the attack on the Apple automat 2 days ago, where some Muslims went and raided private property, cars that are being sold by private individuals who are also suffering from this administration and previous administration. Okay. And yet, who is going to compensate them?
Yeah, Jide, I know that you have just a few moments to be with me on this program, but let me just put this across. The hashtag End SARS protest, the momentum when it gathered, at the peak of it looked like it was a southern affair that, from the north, not so much was heard about, or participation or involvement was not, so much of it that we got from the north. And did this show a signal of the divide, of the country too, or what we might just take away from legitimate demands of people in this country?
Good morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Hello. Yes, you see, when it happened that way, there was a feeling of the dichotomy, ethno-religious dichotomy of Nigerians, the North and the South. It's only just in the last couple of days that the North was speaking up. There were some protests in Taraba, in Kano, in Makurdi, and a host of other countries, other places. And the Kano one, I saw the footage, was almost hijacked by some undesirable elements who actually attacked some of the protesters. And this is why government needs to move very swiftly. This is why ordinarily Mr. President should have come out, address the youth with clear timelines, milestones, deliverables, to say we are interested in meeting your demand. Give us X number of months. For this particular demand, give us a week. For this other demand, give us 3 months. For this other demand, give us 6 months. And dialogue. It is not to be sending people and apologizing. We have listened to apologies over the decades. Where has it led us? Apologies. Like it is said in my part of the world. You know, sorry does not make a wound to heal. Sorry, that saying sorry does not make a wound to heal. You need to be genuinely interested in resolving the knotty issue, the national question, the issues of governance in Nigeria. And we should not miss the point. What the Nigerian youth are saying is about end to bad governance, end to misgovernance, end to corruption, end to lack of professionalism, end to personal aggrandizement of political leaders. And that's why they are also taking on the National Assembly about their pay, jumbo pay that they have. And it is in the elected best interest of all and sundry, particularly those who are holding leadership positions, president to the governors, to local government chairpersons, councillors, commissioners, ministers, and heads of ministry, departments, and agencies, that they need to unite in fashioning a concrete solution to the national question, the question of development, the question of good governance. We have missed the point, but we can use the situation, we can still redeem the situation by ensuring that these youth are listened to and their demands as much as possible are met. Not rhetorically. What government has done in flow of rhetoric, okay, we will do this. I've seen Judicial Commission of Inquiries being set up to last for 6 months. We know the attention span. 6 months down the line, you will not even see anybody. The issues and the events will have been long forgotten. So I think the government needs to come up with a more realistic timeline as to this is when we want this to happen, this is when we want this to happen, and this holds us to account. If you fail to deliver on this timeline, you can then go back to the street.
Okay, one question. Yes. One question today before
youth may not be interested in what the government is saying.
Just one question before you go. Let's talk about utterances from our leaders and how these too, as the NSAS protest, how it has, affected it. From the divides of this country, when leadership, some leaders, the way they talked to the issues was not in any way helping, did not help matters, especially when leaders would say, no, this is not, from, a young one should not be part of this protest. It was seen as a protest against the president. Some people would say, no, let the military come in. Utterances, where it should have been curtailed and mindful of feelings from leaders, again, how it affected the turn of events on this NSAS protest.
No, let me get the question. What exactly is
I'm talking about leadership, people in the authority speaking to the issue of NSAS protest. We saw from some of the utterances we heard that some would say this is not part of what our youth should be involved with. Is a case against Buhari. The regime wants to be brought down, and of course, don't be part of it.
That's why I said, my brother, with due respect to people in government, that's where they are missing the point. That's where they are missing the point. See, revolution starts like this. And when you start a revolution, a struggle, a movement, you never can tell how it will end. If we bungled, if the leadership of the job bungled this opportunity to address the grievances of the youth and assuage their feelings, they may not have a country to govern. Look, what happened in Mali started like this. Protest over election outcome. It ended up consuming the administration of Boubacar Keïta. In Sudan, it consumed the administration of Omar el-Bashir. In Egypt, it consumed Hosni Mubarak. In even Zimbabwe, it consumed Uncle Rob, Robert Mugabe. And if it's not going to consume Nigeria, what Nigerian leaders need to do differently is to weigh their options and meet the demands of these NSAS protesters. They should not see their 5-point agenda as being an end in itself. It's a means to an end. They have come up with 5-point agenda, but the larger governance issue has not been tackled. Here we are in the year of our Lord 2020. We are still grappling with lack of electricity. We are still grappling with dearth of infrastructure. We are still grappling with unemployment. We are still the poverty capital of the world. with our health facilities are like consulting clinics. All of these are what has made Nigerian youths to be disenchanted. And if they think, if the elite, if the rich among us feel that, look, it's too much to concede to the needs and the demands of this Nigerian youth, they may end up not even having a country to govern and to make. So it is in our enlightened best interest to be sure that we probably address the demands of these youth about lack of good governance, about inadequate infrastructure, about or lack of employment opportunities, and about other socio-economic issues. I am of the opinion that the issue of restructuring should be taken on board. This is the time to restructure Nigeria for more efficiency, for better efficiency. We cannot continue to have a country where there are feelings of marginalization, or there are feelings of extortion. There are feelings of the leaders taking advantage of the citizens. In other climes we have seen, leaders are supposed to be servants. Not in Nigeria. I mean, we are all living in this country. We have seen how the leaders take advantage while they are asking Nigerian youth, Nigerian masses to tighten their belts because of harsh economic realities. They are living large, ostentatious lifestyle, flaunting their ill-gotten wealth. And Nigerian youth are saying enough is enough. We cannot continue to be a slave in our country. We cannot continue to risk our lives to be a second-class citizen in other climes. Let us have a livable country. And I don't think that is too much to ask for. Let's have a livable country. I like the way the National Assembly has risen to the occasion. The way the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila spoke yesterday, the resolution from the Senate about the need for the President to address the Nigerian youth, and the need to expedite actions on the 5-point demands that were it goes beyond just setting up a commission of inquiry, judicial commission of inquiry, and the victim support fund. It's about the need to restructure Nigeria for better efficiency, for better service delivery, so that we will cease to be the poverty capital of the world. We will cease to have, look, the unemployment has risen in the last 16 months from 23.1% to 27%. Look at that geometric rise in unemployment. And I mean, you are talking of 774,000 jobs where you give people stipend of 20,000 in a month. And this is a job they will hold for 3 months. Is that a good employment? Can you in good conscience say that that's unemployment or underemployment? How can you just, even the Empower program where they pay graduates, you don't see graduates that pays millions of naira to get to school. They will pay them 30,000 naira for 2 years. Is that an employment that can liberate them, that can get them food on their table, that can get them the good things of life? When you give people peanuts in the name of lifting them out of poverty, is it the conditional cash transfer of 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira that will liberate somebody from poverty? Look at the cost of living. Look at the cost of electricity. Look at the cost of premium motor fuel. These are the bottled up anger that is being expressed across the divide. And we cannot and we should not miss the opportunity to have the country restructured at this point in time.
Jide Ojo, I want to thank you for coming on the program with us this morning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. And that was Jide Ojo, the Executive Director of OJA Development Consult. He's a columnist with Punch newspapers. A matter of fact, on today's Punch, his column is talking about the EndSARS protest. Jide Ojo is also a blogger and an author and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance, United States of America. Shared thoughts with us by phone this morning on the hashtag EndSARS protest. We'll go for a commercial break. When we come back, we're bringing in another youth to talk about the situation we're in now. We'll go for a break now.
On FM, online, on your mobile, and on digital radio. We have no mediocres. No mediocres. No mediocres. The best. And get to 9 to 8 and 9. best hit music.
Welcome back. It's the program Perspectives on Invicta 98.9, and we are taking a look at the End SARS protest, that's going on all over the country, and again, what is coming out of it. We're seeing loss of lives, destruction of properties of private and government, and of course, it is taking the turn that even prisoners have been released, legitimately released from the prisons, and what all of this is doing to the protests going on. And of course, again, we're looking at government action or inaction on all of this. A situation where the army has been, pulled out to end the protests, and of course, the protesters too, not giving way. Hoodlums and miscreants, taking over, and of course the damage that they're doing to the legitimate protest that started 2 weeks into it now. And just when will this end? With the Senate president now, the Senate has declared that the president must come into this matter, talk to Nigerians about the situation, and give assurance that all will be well. And of course, we also saw that Femi Gbajabiamila, Speaker, House of Representatives, has also, come into the matter too. So our lawmakers are into it now, and they are appealing to the president to come in and have his say on this matter. I'll bring in Danjuma Seriki. Danjuma Seriki is a politician, a young politician, and is also a youth leader. And of course, get his thoughts on what is happening. Danjuma Seriki, good morning.
Good morning to Alabi, the only of the media.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you on the show. Danjuma, you're watching, you're seeing what is happening, and of course, this protest that started about 2 weeks ago, the dimension it has taken from when it momentum, where Nigerians were all behind them, because it started as a peaceful protest. That cannot be said to be it now. Destruction and loss of lives and all of that we're seeing into it. But again, a general overview on this protest and what led and why this is coming out at this time.
First and foremost, I will say I as a person am mourning today. Yesterday was a Black Tuesday. Yesterday, government demonstrated the height of lack of concern for the lives of the people who came out to vote for it, who it promised and swore to an oath to protect. I will tell you that I am very sad. Yes, the NSAS protest started as a peaceful protest, so almost 2 weeks ago. And a lot of us, and anyone in Nigeria, is in support of the protest. Because this protest is, I can say, is long overdue. And the protest is a product of bottle of anger, so much disenchantment in the system, so much grievances here and there, so much ineptitude of government and bad leadership in the country that have pervaded everywhere, that is choking everybody in his throat and what have you. But I would say gradually, because our government lack tact, they lack skills in managing people. They equally see government as if they are rendering favor to the people.
And quickly, if to interject into all of this, it's not as if government is not aware or had not taken a position of the youth, their demands. It has said that it would look into it. But again, while government has sworn to oath to protect its people, government again cannot watch, and see, these institutions being raised down. And of course, we see loss of lives also coming from security personnel. So we must be looking at all of these too. We're looking at something for the general good of the society here.
Yes, let me tell you, devoid of any sentiment, whether partisan, ethnic, religious sentiment, I want to tell you that all that has happened was orchestrated in order to tarnish the image of those protesters. I want to tell you, that this thing that happened from the mobilization of talks to the jailbreaks, to security agents carrying tops all around, attacking people, setting places ablaze, was predicted, and there was intelligence that was gathered, and some people publish it on social media that the government is going to use that tactic in order to rob the protest. Let me tell you, why this thing is very delicate was that it is organized by people who, one, are very volatile in our society, that's the youth constituency. Two, they are very exuberant. I don't see any reason why government cannot deploy good skills of governance. The military cannot deploy good military civil relationship tactics. Why the police cannot deploy good and civilized police-military relation tactics to be able to quell these things. It doesn't take anything, no matter how violent the youth has gotten. The government will show that yes, they are the government and they are older than the youth to be able to calm the situation. And let me tell you, in all this, the president allowed this thing to fester for long. That up to date, the people are calling on the president to address the nation, to pacify the youth. And but the president kept feeling as if he is doing Nigeria a favor and is taking Nigeria for granted, and nothing can happen. And let me tell you, everywhere you continue to provoke a man, most especially the youth, you don't know the limit of their anger, and you will not know the result or effect of whatever you are doing. So that is why in any governance system, you don't take people's agitation for granted. And that is why here, that's why here, I want to tell you categorically that this protest did not turn out the way it is. Destruction and what have you not take place without the hand of government. Government were the ones that sponsored because they were looking
protest may not or should not be seen as a weapon or means of intimidating government into actions or inactions. Is that what is showing on here now?
Let me tell you, protest is the major tool that you have in any civilized and democratic state.
And we know all over the world, that protests too can be taken over by hoodlums and watching.
Yes, thank you. And that's why the responsibility behoves on government to be able to come out, deploy security so as to guard the protesters and ensure that those hoodlums do not infiltrate. And you see one thing that you can really about this protester was that they have always been peaceful, and they have always tried to punch back elements within them. They have always tried to shield the protest even against hijack by politicians. You understand me? Or people who want to capitalize it for their own personal interest. So that shows that the protesters were sincere. The protesters were doing it out of personal volition and intuition, but the government failed to capitalize on that to safeguard them. Had it been the government were able to come out to safeguard the protesters and make sure that yes, they protested within limits and within boundaries and shielded them from infiltration by hoodlums, by thugs and other people who they sponsored to come and cause mayhem. We are talking to this.
All right, Daniel Maseki, please stay on the line. Yes. I'll have to take in calls. Stay on the line, please, so you can answer to some of these calls. Again, to my listener out there, just talking with Daniel Maseki, youth leader, and a politician too. And so, from his point of view, we can understand that is very vexed up, so to say, especially when this has to do with the youths of this country. But let's take your calls now, and call us on 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tony Alabi.
Good morning.
Pius is calling from Malali.
All right, Pius, let's get you.
It's quite unfortunate. You see, Tony Alabi, that protest has been there for the past 2 weeks, about 12 days or to 14 days now.
Yes.
But look at it. It has been going on peacefully. But later on, hoodlums, miscreants just hijack it. And look at what it's turning into now. And we warned earlier on, it was a systemic protest that need a systemic approach in order to calm it down by the government, but they refuse. And use of excessive force is not allowed in this kind of protest. We have methods of curtailing protest. We have the use of hot water, rubber bullets, tear gas. These are methods of what? Curtailing protest. But now, what happened in Lagos yesterday? What happened in Lagos yesterday? See what happened now. And as I'm speaking with you now, even now, I just spoke with somebody from Lagos now, and he said that I cannot say it on
yes, please don't.
It is not
please
good.
Don't. Yes.
Yes.
Please don't.
It is not good at all. At all. So government needs a systemic approach now to calm everything down and break it down.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. All right, Pius.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Thank you, Pius. We'll take another call. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tony Alabi.
Good morning.
Good morning, I guess.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes. Corey.
Yes, I really appreciate the way I guess I've spoken, the two guests. Honestly, Tony Alabi, I keep on saying it, politicians have taken this country for granted, especially the youth. I see no reason why I'll go and stand in the sun for the past 4 to 5 hours and vote a politician. At the end of the day, he will pay me back with hardship or hunger or kidnapping my family. I don't know. I was expecting the president, the moment this ELSA started, he should address the nation, but the reverse is the case. But nevertheless, he should still hold them and plead with them. Not all their demand will be met. He should plead with them, because in a situation whereby people are killing, his life is under him. He should just take care of it, because he has promised us life and property to be protected.
Okay.
But I see no reason why it's allowing this thing to continue.
All right.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, Corey, we'll get you on that. I'll take one more and then I'll come back to our guest now on this segment. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Sir Tony Alade.
Good morning.
And good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah,
good morning to your guest.
Yes.
In fact, it's unfortunate of what happened yesterday. We are all Nigerians, join all Nigerians to mourn those who are passed on. And may the Almighty God make sure that at this protest, just because of this maybe killing, let it stop like that. If that's what we are expecting, we pray that let it stop like that. Secondly, your guest has spoken, the one that speaks from Lagos and the one in the studio there, they are speaking the minds of Nigerians. What we are pleading with the president that not giving people money or job is a matter. Let them open almost all the clothes industry in Nigeria, and you will see how you will honorably go back to your better job, and there will be peace. Without that, without creating jobs, without opening all this industry, it's not the refinery, the textiles and others, definitely we will continue to pay this. So I please seriously, sir, that let the government Buhari to focus on that. Let's not forget about people that are saying whether they are after Buhari or not after Buhari. After I myself, I'm a personally voted Buhari. I voted him. And even my family are telling me that in young, but I say no problem, he will change. So what you are saying is that let this country be at peace, sir.
All right. Comrade Gabriel. All right, we got you on that. Come back to you now, Danjuma. What is coming out? Kuri putting the blame on the representatives of the people, the politicians, that the people elected them, go there and work for us and serve us. But it looks like they've turned against the people with what we see at the National Assembly. Their pays and whatever they get, and in a situation where the people are hungry, and of course they see their representatives living large and living in numbers, so to say. So the politicians' role in all of this, and of course again talking about the president, to please talk to Nigerians. That's an appeal coming from Nigerians and the House of Representatives and of course the Senate. In all of this, put your pay on this.
It's really sad, it's only in Nigeria that you see that the politician, whenever he wants to get elected into office, he will knock at your door as early as 4 a.m. Come and lie down, beg you to vote for him. He will go climb podiums the way they are doing today to speak to people. They will hijack protests, lead protests for fuel increment, electricity tariff, what have you, because they want to deceive the public. But immediately they get into that office, they turn vehemently against those who supported them and those who voted them. Even within their party, you find that they begin to form cabal. They begin to push out those people who even built the party and the platform in which they use in order to now begin to become lords and begin to talk to people in very uncouth languages, begin to use derogatory terms. Look at the way Femi Adesina addressed Nigeria. Look at some of them, look at the way their children, even here in Kaduna, the way you see their children will come out and be insulting people as if these people are animals, as if they are not holding that position in place for the people, as if they are the ones that created the democracy or the government we are teaching about. They thought they are insensitive to the plight of the people and what have you. And here I'm not talking only about the executive, even the legislators here are equally culprit because they have all ramifications. Try disrespected people. If you look at people with so much disdain and what have you. So it's a major problem in our polity today that the people must come up and rise and defend. And you find that they have some surrogates who, because of the period they throw at them, they come up to be defending them fiercely. And let me tell you, today in Nigeria, take a statistic. There's nobody, even the people in government, even their ones, there's nobody that cannot give you 5 ways or 5 areas in which the government have disappointed them. That is why you see Aisha Buhari today, despite being the wife of the president, have turned out to be an activist. Even some of our children are joining in that activism. So you see, these are some of the problems. And today, the president, I kept wondering why was the president that has been so elected by the people that even us who are in the position when he was elected felt okay, fine, it was God that brought him. Maybe he has something good in stock that we don't know. But today, even during the COVID-19 pandemic, when people were scared all over, when presidents were coming up addressing people hour by hour, our president was nowhere to be found.
Quickly, I have to ask you one last question before you go. This protest started by the young ones, the youths, very much involved in it. It's been a peaceful protest until it got this bad. But again, talking about thugs and miscreants being used. Again, these thugs and miscreants are also youths. So you begin to wonder, youths turning against each other, on this matter. So where did you get it wrong here? What is it that our youths do not really understand about, especially the talks and the talks that have been used against each other on youth in this protest?
In the way the society is, there's no constituency of our democracy today that you not find bad eggs. Today we know that clergies were used in order to cause divisions in Nigeria today. Clergies were bad. We saw them collecting money, supporting bad leaders, and what have you. Should we say that the whole clergy in Nigeria is bad? Or should we say the clergy system in Nigeria is bad and we should run away from it? So in every structure or strata of the society, there are bad eggs, okay? And there are people who are not educated. And you find out that most times when they want to do this, they recruit people who are educated, who are benefiting from the system, or who are the best of the oppressors. They will recruit them, then they will go out and now look for jobs. People who have not gone to school, people who they have deprived of source of livelihood, people who they make sure they fail to give employment, gainful employment. They will now go and patronize them by giving them 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, or what have you. You saw there was a video that was circulating on the social media of one young boy who was beaten in Abuja to stop her. His eyes were broken and what have you. He was asked who mobilized. He said it was government for people that mobilized, and they gave them 1,000, and that the person who mobilized them would join the crowd of the protesters, and he was directing them around here, don't know where to come and meet them. And the same thing, somebody said it right again in an interview conducted by one of the media organizations that the chairman of NURTW in Jadi was the person that mobilized the talk, and his mother was among them, and unfortunately 4 of them were killed. You see, so it is the elites that are exploiting the exuberance of the youth. They are expressing their innocency, they are expressing their poverty and what have you in order to smear the image of it. Everybody you know that the Nigerian need is responsible?
All right,
thank you. That is why they are breaking barriers all over the world.
Time is up for selling.
Let me land, please.
Time is up for selling, Danjuma.
Nobody can use this to intimidate you.
Time is up, my selling, Danjuma. But we do want an end to this, right?
Certainly we want an end, and we shall have an entry by the grace of God.
Thank you very much.
And we are supporting everything so that Nigeria will be peaceful and will become, but government must be responsible.
Thank you very much. We thank you, Danjuma Seriki.
You are welcome. Thank you very much.
That will be just about the size of it on the program Perspectives today. And Danjuma Seriki from the rear is a youth leader and a politician lending voice to the hashtag EndSARS protest. It's going on all over the country, and of course we want this to come to an end. Lagos, as it is, what we're getting from Lagos, I'm seeing some things here too that it's not good enough, not really good. But again, you must consider Lagos, the nerve center of the economy of this nation, and of course being grounded, and what that would mean to the economy too. As bad as it is now, but we must get Lagos working for its strategic position in the economy of this country. That'll be the size of it on Perspective this morning. Olariwaju Maranatha, thank you for connecting us with the people. Wisdom, thank you for putting us in the pictures. We'll come back with the program Perspectives tomorrow. Good morning.